You're looking at a live shot of the crowd at Jurassic Park. It is packed to the rafters as fans cheer on the Raptors, who are in Oakland right now, facing off against Golden State in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Good evening, I'm Magda Gebrselassie. The game heading into the fourth quarter right now. The Raps have led most of the game and are now at 96-83. We will head to our Greg Ross in Oakland in just a second. But first, a look at some of the game highlights from the first half.
Here's Kawhi. Iguodala on him. Iguodala can guard a 1-through-4 for sure. Danny Green triggers it. Swish. Foul was on the Bogut. Gasol right down the lane with a slam dunk. Traffic. Kyle, great look. Splash. How about that? Kyle Lowry with a big three. Lowry fouled out of game 2 with 3:52 left in the fourth quarter. Kyle on the take around Bell, and he's got 15 in the first half.
Our Greg Ross is outside Oracle Arena in Oakland. So, Greg, no Jurassic Park there. All the action is inside the arena. What's it like there?
You know, they do have a pretty hostile environment in there for the Raptors and their fans, but one thing the Raptors have done very well in this game is they've taken the crowd out of it by, as you mentioned, leading most of the way, and they've got a pretty good lead as they head into the fourth quarter right now, up by 13 points. We'll talk more about the game in just a minute, but let's talk about some of the fans that have come down here to Oakland from Canada to watch this series, to watch this Game 3, which is looking like a pretty good one for the Raptors. We've seen fans here in their Raptors jersey, proud from coast to coast in Canada. We've talked to people from BC. We've talked to people from Nova Scotia. They're excited to be here. We even caught up with one 75-year-old grandmother. It's actually her birthday this week, and she's here because her granddaughters gave her a very special present. This is Grandma's birthday. This is your 75th birthday present from your granddaughter.
2 granddaughters, that's right. They were both college ball players, and I've been following them for years, and so this is my big party.
She's an NBA super fan. She knows starting lineups. She knows everything.
And
she could commentate tonight.
Where did you guys play college ball?
University of Calgary and University of Lethbridge.
And so you guys are all from Alberta. You live in BC now, but you're all from Alberta. And how are you guys related?
We're really good friends.
Oh, really good.
They're business partners.
So you came on Grandma's birthday trip.
Yes, yes, we crashed Grandma's party.
And it's worth it. So how big are the Raptors in Alberta?
They're big. They're big everywhere in Canada.
We tried to buy shirts and they were sold out everywhere.
The only place we could get them is Walmart.
You had to go to Walmart to get a Raptors shirt in Alberta.
All the official shirts were gone. And I went over there and asked them if they have any Raptors shirts. He says, no, they're over there in the trash.
Some dedicated fans there, but let's get back to the team. So in Game 2, the Raptors came out strong, and then it all fell apart in the third quarter. How are they playing now?
Well, the Raptors didn't let that happen in the third quarter this time around. We remember Golden State in Game 2 starting the second half on an 18-0 run. Not this time. The Raptors defense holding strong, and they're getting a complete team effort so far in this game. We've seen many games where Kawhi Leonard really carries the team on his shoulders, but not today. You look around just to see how they've spread the scoring out in this game. Kawhi does lead all Raptors scorers with 24 points, but then you look down the list, you see Danny Green, who's on fire from beyond the arc, hitting 3 balls. He's got 18 points. Kyle Lowry has 18 points. Pascal Siakam has 14 points. The list goes on and on. Everybody seems to be contributing in this game, and the Raptors take a big lead into the fourth quarter, hoping to hang on and hoping to take a very important lead in this series. If they hang on and take a 2-1 lead, they essentially steal back home court advantage in this series, and they have a chance now to wrap it up on home court in Game 5. If they win tonight, they win Friday night, they'll go home with a chance to wrap up the series. And can you imagine what it would be like in Toronto if the Raptors had a chance? Remember Game 6 against Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Final. It would be insane in downtown Toronto if the Raptors could pull this off.
All right, fingers crossed. Thanks, Greg. Let's come back home to Toronto now. Our Natalie Nanowski is at Jurassic Park. So, Natalie, how are the fans feeling right now?
I don't know if you just heard it, but they are cheering. The mood here is absolutely electric. Even though it was raining the whole time, that definitely didn't put a damper on it. You see it? These guys are in love. They've been standing here for hours watching their beloved team play. Mayor John Tory was also here, of course, wearing his blazer, the black and gold blazer. I'm going to bring you over to two fans who I've been speaking with. Meet Hannah and Tyler. They came here with their signs. Tell me about your signs.
So we work at a print company downtown Toronto. It's called Italic Press, and this is what we do. The best stuff ever. We represent Toronto.
That's awesome. And you told me that you have tried for years to get into Jurassic Park. This is your first time.
My first time actually getting in ever since we first started. When Jurassic Park first started years ago, I got in, and I've been trying ever since, and I finally got in today.
How does it feel, guys? How does it feel to be inside?
It's crazy. The atmosphere is wild. Everybody's excited. Everybody's just like having a good time. We're winning, which is the best part, so it's going well.
So you said we're winning. Do you think we're going to win? Do the Raptors have it? We have a lead right now. What do you think?
We have it. We have it. We have the passion. We have the heart. We have the talent. We're taking it home.
This is our game. This is our game to lose again.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you so much. There you have it. That's the prediction all the way over here. And, you know, as Greg mentioned, he was talking to a grandma who flew about 5 hours to go and watch that game. I was talking to other fans here also came out for their birthday. A father drove 5 hours just so his daughter could be here on her 19th birthday to watch the Raps play here in Jurassic Park. Magda, back to you.
Thanks, Natalie. Some hardcore fans there. Colette's here with the first look at the weather. So, Colette, I forgot my umbrella today, but the question is, will we all need our umbrellas tomorrow?
Yeah, this was not the day to forget it. I know. I'm sorry for you that happened. But the good news is you can forget it tomorrow. In fact, we've really been seeing things kind of winding down, and we'll continue to have that trend. A little patchy fog here and there, the odd sprinkle, but there's not much left with this. And in fact, the clouds receding through the overnight hours. Early tomorrow morning, there may still be a little bit of cloud cover in here, but we'll see that break up pretty quickly. As high pressure is building in behind the system. We'll see sunshine setting up. There could be a few spotty afternoon showers off to the west and southwest of the city, but otherwise the GTA looking dry, and temperatures also getting back to seasonal values where we should be at this time of year. So overnight tonight, again, there could be some visibility issues sort of here and there, but otherwise 22 degrees tomorrow afternoon, and the temperatures are going to be building from there as we look at the long range. Magda, I'll have that coming up.
All right, we'll check in later.
Sounds good.
A big announcement out of Queen's Park tonight. The Ford government introducing legislation to cap wage increases for public sector employees. Loretta Kopp has the details.
This 1% wage cap would include 1 million workers under the public sector. Included in that are teachers and other education workers, also nurses, people who work in colleges, also people who work in hospitals and long-term care homes, and the OPP. Not included are other police forces, firefighters, and other municipal workers, and also doctors are not included in this. This would mean a maximum 1% a year wage increase for 3 years, and it would take effect for the next collective agreement. The government says without this, there could have been thousands of job losses.
This is a fair and time-limited approach that applies across the provincial public sector. And I want to be very clear, introduction of this legislation does not impose a wage freeze, rollback, or job cuts.
The government says this is being done because of a tough financial situation. Not surprisingly, the unions are not happy with this. We heard from the Ontario Federation of Labour. It says that this is about the Ford government attacking workers' rights. We also heard from Smokey Thomas, the head of OPSU. He says his union plans to protest.
It's just unprecedented for a minister to be able to decide if a union is going to be captured in the 1% cap or not captured. Like when you look through it all, just at first glance, it's really, frankly, it's illegal. And again, I'd just say to the Premier Ford, like how many fronts do you want to be fighting on with community groups and parents and multinational beer firms?
Tomorrow is expected to be the last day of the session here at Queen's Park. The government says it is not planning on rushing this bill through. They're next scheduled to sit in September. Loretta Kopp, CBC News, Toronto.
Meet Mike, the Brampton bus driver who goes above and beyond for his passengers. He taught himself how to speak Punjabi, and it has been making people's day ever since.
You always give smile to me.
Yeah. I'm Ali Chiasson. I've got that feel-good kind of story out of Brampton coming up.
Ottawa is stepping in to save a tree planting program on the Ford government's chopping block.
I'm really hopeful that Premier Ford will step up, that he will support this program because it's good for the environment and it's good for the economy, and that's what Ontarians want.
The federal environment minister announcing $15 million over 4 years to support a program aiming to plant 50 million trees in Ontario. Now, it was well on its way to that goal, having planted nearly 30 million trees, but the funding was cut in the provincial budget. Asked about Ottawa moving to save the program, the provincial minister of Forestry and Resources said the private sector has already offered to continue the work.
And I would say to the taxpayers of Ontario, if private enterprise is ready to fill a gap, is that not preferable to the government putting taxpayers' money into planting trees on private property when private industry is willing to do it?
With the money promised today by the federal government, another 10 million trees can be planted, bringing the total to nearly 40 million trees. Another day brings another strain on the relationship between City Hall and Queen's Park. This time, it's a text message that has ticked off Mayor Tory. He says that's how he found out the province wants to change Toronto's development plans. As City Hall reporter Lauren Pelly reveals, it's all about a plan to put taller apartment buildings in parts of the city.
As construction continues on the Eglinton Crosstown, the province is changing Toronto's official plans to allow more growth near major transit hubs like this.
This neighborhood has changed a lot.
The news has this longtime Midtown resident bracing for taller and taller towers.
We have no objection necessarily to tall buildings. We supported a 65-story application at Yonge and Eglinton, but it has to be within the context of the area.
He also worries growing too big, too fast could leave communities without supports.
If you have a very dense community, you need good schools, you need some parks, you need to have some libraries, you definitely need some daycares, and you need some open spaces where people can just walk the dogs or whatever. Those are some of the bare minimums that people need, and we're not getting those.
Toronto spent years on development strategies for both Midtown and downtown, capping tower heights and building in services and supports.
The Ford government is just giving away the shop to the development industry and allowing them to build as much as they want, as big as they want, all crunched into certain areas.
This Midtown councillor says that type of growth won't help the city's housing crisis either.
This is the same government that earlier this year withdrew all rent controls on any new units being built in Ontario.
But the province maintains their plan will bring affordable housing and necessary supports.
We maintain the position of growth paying for growth.
Amid all the debate, what's alarming for Toronto's mayor is that he learned of the changes last night through a text message from the housing minister.
There has been a process followed here that is disrespectful of the City of Toronto, that is non-consultative.
Today's events mark yet another instance where the province has made a sweeping change that impacts Toronto, but city officials say they weren't properly consulted. We first saw that when the Ford government tried to slash the size of the city council during last summer's election. We saw it again when there were major funding cuts to city services, including public health, this year. Yet again, Toronto says we're just out of the loop. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
A live look at our city tonight. It was a rainy, cold, cloudy day, but fear not, we have a beautiful few days ahead of us. And Colette will be back with your full weather forecast after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Mike Landry has been a Brampton bus driver for 19 years. And for his passengers, he goes the distance, including finding a way to connect with those who don't speak English. So let's jump on the 56 Brampton bus with our Ali Chiasson.
At first, they can't believe their ears. Nahi, gari banda.
What was your first interaction with him?
Yeah, he was like, he said me Sat Shri Akal. I was like, okay, Sat Shri Akal, yeah.
And when you heard him say that greeting, what did you think?
I was like, I thought like, yeah, it was something different for me. I mean, I felt really great. I mean, it was good. I was excited, like, yeah.
When did you get the idea to start learning Punjabi?
When did I get the idea? Yeah, about 4 years ago. Yeah, I had that trip with those young gentlemen on the bus, and you know, it was a night shift that they were getting off. Yeah, they were just tickled pink to teach me Punjabi, you know, because like I said, I was picking up fairly quick, so they just kept throwing stuff at me, and seeing how well I did. It went well for that 4 months. I thought, hey, you know, let's see if I can run with it. You know, after that, you get a book from the library. That helped a lot, so I knew the language structure, how to conjugate verbs and stuff like that. Just sort of took off from there. Dhanvad, meherbani. Okay, pyar milengi.
On the first day, he surprised me that he's speaking in Punjabi. Second time seen him, and it's really good. This is really helpful for those guys.
The older folks as well.
Yeah. So they came in Canada, but they don't know how to speak the English.
I think it's a good thing, and it will help people, like, you know, to travel. Like they will be more comfortable.
We are very surprised that our culture is spread everywhere, so it's very good for us that it's spread everywhere.
And now it's even on your bus route.
Yeah.
The riders, they really appreciate this.
Yeah, it's surprising to me as well sometimes, you know, how much they do appreciate it. You know, you start to make friends. You know, you start to know these people. And not only that, without the help of passengers, there's no way I could have learned the language, right?
You're impressed with his counting?
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
Can you count to 10 for me?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Wow, I'm so impressed.
Yeah, that's just 10. You want to hear it to 100, or how far do you want me to go?
What do you hope people get from seeing this story today?
Wow, it brings us together more than it divides us, and it may be as simple as that. Breaks some cultural barriers. If they get that out of it, maybe there's some good out of it.
Colette's back with another look at the weather. You said the sunshine is coming back. Is that true for the weekend too?
Yeah, you know what? It's looking like we're finally going to have a nice run of days where we have sunshine, but also where we're going to see our temperatures looking a little bit better too. Not only just seasonal, but maybe even a little bit above. So a little patchy fog, a few areas where we may have some visibility that's reduced. We'll see a little cloud cover into tomorrow morning, but then clearing off and the sun coming out, and there'll be more sun to come, plus some milder temperatures as we move ahead over the next few days. And we'll take a look at that weekend in the 5-day forecast. Now, tomorrow morning, a little bit of extra cloud cover to start is possible, but we'll see that erode. We get into sunshine through the day, few spotty showers. Both the Canadian and the U.S. model kind of want to pull a few little spots in here well to the west of the city, but just something to be aware of. And otherwise, we are just looking at a dry trend for not just one, but several days coming up. So Friday, the setup, again, really nice. When you have high pressure in place, your air is sinking, it's very stable, and the conditions should be good. And even as the winds change direction a little bit, allow for a little bit of a warm up. So starting tomorrow, they're still going to be kind of from north to northwest behind the system. After that, they turn towards the south and they'll pick up a little bit. Overnight tonight, though, through southwestern Ontario, still some cloud cover here, some patchy fog also, that potential 13, 14 degrees for the overnight lows. Tomorrow, looking at temperatures just a hair below seasonal values, but still a really nice day setting up for your Thursday. For the GTA overnight tonight, there's a look at your temperatures. So still hanging in the double digits, but after a cool day today, not much of a change with what we see in the overnight. Big change, though, for tomorrow when we're going to see those readings getting up there towards those seasonal values with our low 20s and that sunshine that we'll be getting as well. So look at that 5-day forecast and what you can expect after this and into the weekend. Sunshine Friday, 23 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 24. Into Sunday, probably a few more clouds rolling in. And at this point, it looks like the next system holds off till Sunday night into Monday. So we'll keep it there for now. 25 degrees on Sunday for the high. It looks like the Canadian Open is on through this weekend. Looking like great weather.
That all sounds good. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
A wildlife rehab center in the U.S. has chosen a fitting way to mark World Environment Day, releasing some of the world's oldest creatures back into the ocean. 20 sea turtles are happy to be heading home. It's been months of rehab since they were found injured and stranded. They live deep in the ocean, only coming on shore once a year to lay eggs. And unlike other turtles, they can't retract their heads and legs, so they are more likely to be injured. Welcome home to them, and we'll be right back.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Hundreds of Muslims praying at a mosque in Brampton, coming together to celebrate Eid. This marks the end of Ramadan, a month where Muslims fast from dawn until sunset. Fasting during Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which also include prayer and charity.
We celebrate happiness today and we share it. Today I am having my friend Amjad with me, and it's like the double happiness for us.
It's kind of like Thanksgiving and Christmas where you guys go to each other's houses. This is like this our holiday.
Like seeing your family, spending time together.
Something else people at this Brampton mosque are thinking about. They say they're all putting in a special prayer for the Raptors to win Game 3. And it seems their prayers were answered. Maybe. Here's Jurassic Park as the game clock ticks down. Raps are up 12 points with about 3 minutes left to play. While this is the first time the Raptors are in the NBA Finals, the game of basketball is no stranger to Canada. It was invented by Canadian James Naismith, and we visited his hometown today.
With the Raptors making it into the NBA Finals, it's hugely exciting for us. James Naismith wasn't looking to make riches or anything like that from the game. He was looking to keep young men active, so it's kind of a nice story in that sense. We're very proud of the story, and we're always telling the story, but it feels like now we can share it with the whole country and even the world.
The mayor isn't the only one hyped up about Naismith and Almont. Even people visiting can feel the buzz in town about the Raps.
We'll see that gentleman who invented basketball we read the story, he used a hamper, a wooden hamper that they used to pick tomatoes in, put it on a post and invented the game. So we knew his history, but we didn't know he lived here or came from here. And this is a special moment. These little towns have little hidden gems and touchstone moments. And we do a lot of bike touring, and we've never been through this area before, so we're quite impressed. We're not too far from Toronto, so we see the throngs of people in the Jurassic Park, and now we see there's pop-up We the North Jurassic Parks taking place all in little towns all over the place.
Oh,
We the North.
Of course,
We the North.
He's right. There are many pop-up Jurassic Parks around the GTA and across Ontario, from Thunder Bay to Halifax, including one in the inventor's hometown. And that's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.